Hello there, and welcome back to my channel, subscribers and new viewers. For those of you who have not seen my previous Reincarnated redesign, I made impact sands, and today I'm going to be working on my redesign for Reincarnated Papyrus. I'll get to their name in a minute, but before I share a lot of my thoughts behind the redesign and all of that, I wanted to start off by saying that I got stuck a couple of days ago being sick for 3 days in a row, and it was awful. My back felt like it was made out of brittle, but during that time I decided to do more research so that I wasn't wasting time. I had looked into as many alternate universes as I could for inspiration and motivation for Papyrus, because my initial design for them was okay. It was kind of a weird mix of edgy and cutesy, and I just didn't have a general single direction for it. I also got very deep dived into the fell swap and the multitude of different versions of Papyrus that there are that are over 7 feet tall that look like they could just pick you up and squish you like you were a tiny little cute kitten. And I found out that there are also mermaid skeleton versions of them, and they are gigantic, and all of this just further fueled the fact that I needed my version of Reincarnated Papyrus to be tall and thin and lanky and just intimidating, so much so that if they were to stand next to you, they would just be right over top of you, lean down and pick you up with one hand like you were a tiny little doll. So keeping that in mind as you see the design come to life on screen here, I also had to figure out the personality, because my initial thoughts for them was they were absolutely unhinged, and I thought fell version, but actually would attack you instead of secretly being nice. But then I thought, I need something else to go off of this with. So as I was doing my research, I was like, okay, how about we start with the name, something that's intimidating and something that would complement impact, so Rebound. And then I looked up if Rebound Papyrus exists, and it did, so I was like, okay, I don't want there to be confusion, so let's look up nicknames. We have Paps is his usual nickname, then we have Edge, Honey, Stretch, Mutt, Money, Coffee, Slim, Carrot, and Russ, and I thought all of these names are perfect, but they are also usually short or based off of some of the actions or personality or just even the colors of the characters, and I thought, you know what, I have an idea. I was doing some thinking and some communicating with a new member of my team whose voice work you'll hopefully be hearing soon, because their voice acting impressions of Error Sands and a few others is phenomenal. But if I do get them to voice impact or my name for Papyrus, Dart, I am very excited about this, because they helped me with the weapon idea. They gave me the heavy inspiration by saying, what if he had a harpoon? And my eyes lit up, and I was frothing at the mouth at the idea of him having a magic bone spear-like harpoon with a magical chain that could link back to him, and I just got the image in my brain of him taking it, and because they use this orange magic similar to Sans' blue magic, but if you don't move, it hurts. So the idea of him throwing this glowing orange harpoon at you and your soul, and it lodges into you if you don't move, and it has this double-edged kind of spikiness to it that rips through your soul and flesh, holding you down and yanking you back to him so that he can be as far away as he needs to. He can throw it have you guys seen, I know it's impressive to begin with, how these, I think they're pole throwers at Olympics things, those things hurl at the speed of sound and go far distances. Imagine that, except it's a harpoon and it's coming from a skeleton that's over 8 feet tall. That's the kind of power that I wanted behind it, and his name being Dart. As well as also he's super fast, and as you guys might have noticed, I wanted to compliment him with his brother with the horns and tail, except I thought, you know what, I want to make him cooler than his brother, and I figured because he's got a broken horn in that, I needed to figure out a way to balance this out. So I gave him a twisted double tail, so he has tails that are kind of like the weird little spiral that connect at the end, so he has has like a double-edged tail. This also was slightly inspired by the fact that I kept seeing a lot of mermaid sanses and papyruses, and the designs for some of the skeletal tails and fins looked amazing. And also, when looking up a lot of the alternate universe versions of Papyrus that were a bit more on the edgy, angsty side, which I love, I thought, how would my character interact with some of the others, especially in my own world with Frisk and Kara and all of them, when I get around to designing them and making scenes? I needed to make sure that everything was kind of like, visually you could tell by their expressions, because that's a big thing that I feel like I lacked when I was making a lot of designs last year, is that it was just too simple, and the expressiveness, I wanted to give him particularly sharp teeth as well. I tried to work on the designs so that I can work on illustrations and comic pages and tons of ways for these characters to interact with each other. One of the things with the outfit and the colors and things is, you guys may have noticed that I gave him a crop top similar to Sans's but much shorter, so you could see his like long skeletal bones down there, because I don't know why. I have found a new fascination in making a bunch of clothes that either, if they do exist, I really want them, or they don't exist and I still want them, just because I have never been the one to be able to design or even buy a lot of cosplay clothes to be able to wear to conventions. I've only been to a couple in my life, and all the ones that I did, I was literally just wearing basically a clip-on tail and ears so that I could just have fun wearing something that normally I wouldn't around the general public. I don't have, nor do I ever intend on getting anything like a fursuit or that, but I wouldn't mind having an outfit that looks like it came straight out of a fantasy cartoon or video game. It's just the idea of looking super unique and cool and sticking out like a sore thumb, but without being embarrassed and shy like I usually would be with such an outfit, causing such an intense response of people staring at me and questioning what I'm wearing, if I made it or bought it or stuff like that. I get overloaded with that kind of stuff. And for these characters, I wanted such outfits to be the case that when you first look at them, you're just like, whoa, look at those spiky boots, look at those awesome like gloves that you're wearing, and the sharp claws, and the ripped t-shirt of like, oh, did that happen because you were in a battle, or is that just something that you got, or did you make it, and that kind of thing. Especially with the little like jewelry to their rings on the horn, where I thought, you know what, they don't have ears, they can't wear earrings, so instead I put rings on the horns. And this one in particular, instead of giving him a head crown like Sans, I gave him a little chain and a gem on the end dangling like an earring, because I think that looks super cool for them, as well as also just, I don't know, I feel like he would be that kind of person who would happily wear this kind of stuff because his brother wears it and he thinks that it looks super cool together. And it's just one of those things that I imagine that they get along very well with the outfits and jewelry and stuff that they wear. That, and also it feels boring and bland without all these accessories. I don't know why more people don't wear fun accessories like this. It reminds me of those people who just, for an unknown reason, I personally would never get them, wear these strange different like types of earrings and piercings and stuff, although it freaks me out to imagine somebody getting a piercing on their chest or forehead or that. I have seen it and it does look interesting on some people because it's a gem or something like that, but I personally wouldn't have that. For me, it's more of a case of, it's like wearing an extra ring on your finger and having like a necklace or a bracelet that just adds a little something extra to it, and there could be even a reason behind having them as gifts. For the case of Papyrus and Sans, they wear it as sort of like family jewels, and it's something that I feel like adds to their story that I can add more and more detail to for the story as it goes along, the more you get to know the characters. That, and also I like the idea that if my characters were to interact with literally any of the characters in the multiverse, I would love to see other people's interpretations of them, but I need to actually get the characters' designs and personality out there first so that people could understand more about them, because I already have ideas in my head. However, I don't know if these ideas in my head are going to translate very well until I actually get them out there, because I've had recently, because I've made Undertale alternate universe fan art for other stuff, like Nightmare and his gang recently, and people are now learning my thoughts and opinions on these characters and ship dynamics and all these things, so I have had a lot more of interactions with community than I have in a long while, and it's made me super happy because I've also been able to talk to more people as I've been reaching out more about these things instead of being scared and shy and backing away from this kind of thing, because there are people out there who aren't going to sit there and be like, ugh, another skeleton. They're like, oh, another sands, another papyrus, please tell me more, and that kind of stuff just makes me all happy, because these self-indulgent moments of me making this stuff has made me more and more motivated to just keep creating it, because it's something that I genuinely, and haven't had this feeling since I've been worked on my own original characters in a long time, making these alternate universe versions of Sans and Papyrus, of Impact, and now Dart has given me more and more fuel to work on this, especially with the fact that I have been working on a rig or animation or whatever you want to call it with keyframes for Impact and Dart, so that I can share with you and show you how their tails and other stuff works for loose animatics or animations of these particular movements to help me practice, especially because I'm so used to making just anthropomorphic designs and human designs. I want to make more monster designs, and this I feel is a way, a little gateway for me to kind of step into this world and step out of my comfort zone instead of making one thing and be done with it. I also really enjoyed the idea that I gave him these twisted tails that separate and kind of add to the fact that with his weapon he can use his tails if he needs to for any number of reasons, similar to how Sans uses his as a whip, except I feel like Papyrus in this particular case, Dart, would not be so open to utilizing it unless it was a last-ditch attempt if you got too close for comfort and Dart couldn't use their harpoon to attack you. That's also why they have a broken horn as sort of like a reminder of the previous timeline thing. As I've kind of mentioned with Impact with their bones, Dart's bones are the same thing. The reason why their particular bones change to an ashy kind of color is kind of like a semblance and a showing of from the reincarnation. This was like an impact that was left on them permanently from the previous timeline, but with a little exaggeration, because I know that for him, his was his neck and Sans was his chest, so it seems a little weird to just have his neck be the thing, so I thought I'll do his whole head with the injury and the slight coloration change of the bones and all of that. And I'm also going to have to figure out how that is going to impact some of the other characters, because it's pretty obvious that most of them, their final attacks are usually for their chest or their heads, so I don't want them all to just have chest and head kind of like markings for the reincarnation, but I'll figure that out as I work on their designs a bit more. But overall, I am very, very pleased with how Dart and Impact look, and I hope that you guys have enjoyed this particular video. I know it's a little different, and for those of you who are curious, for Valentine's Day, roughly speaking, I do intend on making some fan artwork for more of the Undertale and many other things that I'm a fan of, ships, including my own characters, because I didn't get to make as many as I wanted to last year because I ran out of time. So now that it is the end of January and we're getting closer to it, I'm going to start working on that pretty much as soon as I finish and post this video, so that I can share all of those with you guys, because there's nothing wrong with a little bit of fun self-indulgent and getting to see all the unusual but unique and edgy ships with characters, hence why I made my little mini comic of Mission Failed. If you haven't seen that, you can go check those out later, but I appreciate all of you for making it to the end of today's video, and let me know what you guys think of Dart and Impact, and if you have any further questions about them and anything in particular that you might want to see in an illustration now that I have the reference sheets finished. That's all the time that we have for today. Thank you so very much. If you have not already, don't forget to leave some likes and comments and subscribe to join the Subscribblers squad. In the meantime, don't forget to check out some of my playlists, and if you would like any fan artwork featured at the end of the video in the Subscribblers gallery, tag me in it. I would love to see what you guys make, and if you'd like to support my works and see more, check out my card link below, especially for the patron exclusive rewards. £2 a month, the Fennec Fox tier gets you access to secret sketches and artwork early. The Arctic Foxes, for £5 a month, you get exclusive access to videos and webtoons pages early, and the Red Foxes have the opportunity to be featured as a background character or a commission instead, and your name read out at the end of the videos just like this. Thank you so much to Frankie Jr. 13 and Spot Draws. Stay possum, Subscribblers, and I'll see you real soon.